Thanks, Barb.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us here. An announcement for everyone. We're going to be going live next week. So here at the YMCA Medford, we're having a live class at this time. So if you'd like to come and join us, there are limitations on how many people can come, but it's a wonderful opportunity to be live. And so this is the last, so these are just saved, and you can look at these, and not just mine, but Adam's and Jenny's and the others that are doing classes here. So let's start. Again, my name is Barb, and I'm here to kind of help all of us navigate the daily life and the physical health. Let's start with a meditation. Closing your eyes, you're in a seated position that's comfortable for you. It doesn't have to be like mine. It could be cross legs. You could be sitting on the block. You could be kneeling, remembering that your way of sitting is going to be unique to you, maybe. So again, closing the eyes, or you could look at the ground with soft eyes. Kind of get a feel for how you are inside. The inner landscape is another way to say it. Noticing the weight of your hands on your knees, if they're on your knees or in your lap. Just allow them to be heavy. Maybe noticing the temperature of your hands as they lay wherever they're at. The pressure of your hands on your knees or in your lap. Bring your attention to the state of your mind right now. And keeping track of that for the end of this practice so that you can kind of compare where you were at when you started and how you feel physically and mentally at the end. Breathing in and allow your spine to extend upwards. I always call it the seated dancer. And then release down, and breathing in through the nose and out through the nose as you do this. Breathing in again, extend the spine. And out. Extending the spine again, lifting, breathe in. And out. Bring your hands to your heart center, Anjali mudra. Your dedication to yourself, for your own self-care and well-being and those around you. It's your own attitudes, your own physical abilities, and maybe limitations also impact those around you. And then you can bow your head to your hands, allow your hands to come down to your knees or come down to your lap. Let's open our eyes for our practice now. So I thought I would start with three-part breathing again. And before we get to breathing three-part, let's use Ujjayi breathing as part of the three-part breathing. So I'm going to actually put the three-part breathing second Let's do ujjayi breathing first. Ujjayi breathing is like if you are like breathing onto a mirror to fog a mirror. So let's just do a couple of breaths in and out through the mouth. And it'll sound a bit like ocean. They call it ocean breath. So and again, in through the mouth, out through the mouth, and you kind of constrict the back of your throat when you're doing this. So and then let's try in breath with the mouth. And then you're going to breathe out through the nose. You're still going to have a bit of that constriction in the back of the throat. And then have your tongue just behind your top teeth. So let's breathe out through the nose. And it's a sound you can hear inside. So breathing in through the nose like this with a constriction, ocean breath. Out. You might want to close your eyes and just listen to yourself. And then let's start with ujjayi breathing and just break it down into 3 parts. And we've done this before in other videos. So it's 1/3 in the belly. I count to third, count to 3. 1/3 the rib cage going out, and the kidneys, the back of the rib cage going out a little bit. So it's kind of these two out and then back. So that's a count of 3, and then a count of 3 upper chest, lifting and hold, and then breathe out, belly, 1 smooth breath, midsection, upper chest. So I like to change the cross of my legs. You sit for a while, so you might want to do that too before we get started with this one. So let's start with, so breathing in, 1/3 ujjayi breathing. Feel the belly expand, 1/3 in the midsection and the back, 1/3 upper chest. Hold at the top. And then breathe out 1 long breath. Let's do that 2 more times. So breathing in. Count to 3, pause. Count to 3 in the midsection and back. Pause and leave room at the top. 1/3 here. And out. One more time, and again, leave room at the top for the last 3rd. So let's do that again. Pause, top, and then smooth breath out, belly first. And release. So that's a really nice 3-part breathing. And so we're going to now move to our backs. And I put a little blanket under my head. You can do that if you want, or a cushion. It's up to you. So let's just start with knees bent. And I'm kind of thinking the best way to do this is probably to face you. So I'm going to face you because then you can see my legs better. Okay, so what you're going to do here, I'm just going to move myself back here. What you're going to do here is put your right foot over your left, like you're, like if you're a woman, you'd be in a, you have a skirt on, and you kind of like trying to close your legs. So this is kind of the same kind of idea. And now just as you breathe out, drop your legs to the right, just both of them, and it doesn't have to go far. And then come up, breathe in, and breathe out. Side, breathe in, and out, in. 2 more, out, drop to the side, in, and out, in. And then just uncross that leg. And now take the left leg over the right. And now you're going to breathe out as you dip to the left. So left leg over right, you're dipping to the left. Breathe out as you go down, in as you go up. Do 2 more. Okay, then uncross your legs. Now bring both of your hands so they're pointing up to the sky. And now you're going to what you want your arms to be straight. So first of all, we're going to go over to our right. So you're going to bring both arms, this is like a steeple, both arms to the right as you breathe out. And your left shoulder will come up a little bit and come up. And breathe out, coming down and up and down and up. 2 more, down and up. Breathing out and breathing in. And now we're going to go to the same thing at the other side. And again, you notice my arms are straight. So breathing out, coming down. Your right shoulder is going to come up a little bit. Breathing out, coming down. This is just kind of doing a little warm up for the upper shoulder and chest. 1 more time. Okay, keep the arms there. And now you're going to take your right leg over your left leg. And what you're going to do is you're going to drop. Let me think of how this goes. You're going to drop the legs to the right. Okay, and you're going to bring your arms to the left. So before you do the legs, you do arms first. Arms, and go half the distance you just went. So we're going to take the arms left, legs to the right. And then they both come together. In breath. Out breath, half the arm and then leg. In breath. Again, in through the nose, out through the nose. So you're starting with the arms, then the legs, and then they come back up together. 1 more time. Okay. Keep the arms where they're at. Now cross the left leg over the right. And you're going to rotate. Actually, you're going to drop your legs out to the left, arms out to the right. But you're starting with your arms. So arms out, maybe halfway as much as you did before. And then the legs go out to the left, and they both meet in the middle. So breathing in, breathing out, arms and then legs. Together on the out breath, this is the out breath. In breath coming up, out breath coming out. Let's do 2 more. And release. And that's kind of like a steeple, kind of like a somatic movement. So, yeah, we're going to do a thing with, I think we're just going to do, I don't know how many of you have a yoga strap. If you have a yoga strap, let me grab mine. I thought I had it here. Okay, I should have a yoga strap here somewhere. And it's probably somewhere, I can't find it. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and just do a hamstring stretch. And I'm just going to do it on my back. So here we are. And so the knees are bent. And you can do this with a strap too. So knees are bent. And then you can take your right hand, interlace it behind your right hand and the right thigh. And I'm not mirroring right now, so this may look different for you. And then see if you can extend that right leg up and push through the heel. So this is for hamstrings. All right, push the heel. Imagine your hip socket is going into the socket. You're pulling it into the socket while you're pushing your heel to the ceiling. So it's like 2 directions. And then bend your knee and straighten again. Bend your knee, straighten, push, 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 push. And if you want to extend that left leg out, toes to the ceiling, and you can do a couple more bends and stretches. Good. And then you might want to bend this knee again, and then just bring this leg out. So you have a choice. You can keep this leg straight as you bring this right leg out. In fact, something that's kind of nice to do is to put a block right there. See the block right there. So it kind of helps you keep your leg from hanging out there. You can keep this leg straight. You can bend it and then bring it over to the left if you want to a little. It's really for opening the hip. But push through the heel again. Push through this right heel. Okay. And again, this leg can be straight. It can be, mine's bent and off to the left. Let's come up. Push again. I'm going to extend that left leg again. And then bend. And then we're going to do the other side. And I'm actually going to move around because it's easier to see me that way. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Block there right by the hip on the low setting. And now I'm going to interlace my hand behind my left thigh. And now slowly straightening that leg up. Push through the heel. Imagine that your left hip is going into its socket. This is my hip replacement side. Just like fake hip, fake socket. Okay. So don't think that a hip replacement will keep you from doing yoga. No way. You just have to be careful. Just bend and straighten. And bend and straighten. You feel that heel push, 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 push. Bend and straighten. And then you can extend, if you want to, extend that right leg out. Push through the heel so that the toes point to the ceiling. This is my leg that's a little less flexible, so let's do this again. So it's going to be a little bent. And then just bring this leg out. So I just kind of hold on just below the knee, and this other leg can come up and then bend out. It's your choice. You don't have to have this leg bent, this right leg. The left leg is pushing out. So it's really good for hip opening. Push, okay, and then come back. And then you can bend your knee and come down. And just lay there for just a moment. And we're going to do another thing. And so this is going to be, I hope you can see this okay. It's kind of hard to see this. But you're going to see me from behind. And we're going to do a thing called figure 4 at the wall. So, you know, figure 4 is, and I'll just show it to you from front ways. It's like this. And then you kind of, you know, hold on there. But we're going to do that so they don't have to hold on. So you do it against the wall. So you're going to see me from behind. You don't have to bring your rear end up against the wall. Actually, you're going to come close, but not that close. So I'm going to keep my blanket there. And then what you want to do is measure how far your feet are away. So you want to be able to have your feet, you know, so the feet are like parallel, right in line with your knees. Okay, and then to come into this pose on the wall, what I do is press my feet into the wall, lift my rear end up. I'm going to take my left leg and put it on my right knee and then come down. And you might have to adjust your position. But you can then use this without bringing your arms, recruiting from your arms, and you having to dive through your hands through the thighs. This is a nice way to get a figure 4 stretch. You want your left foot to be flexed. And you can take your hand on your left knee, push in a little. So just find what's easy for you to do. But this is figure 4 against the wall. And just breathe into it. Ujjayi breathing. Ujjayi breathing is helpful because it helps you become more aware of your body. And so in yoga, it's very important. You don't have to do it all the time, but it's helpful when you're holding positions. Let's do the other side now. Again, I'm gonna push my feet against the wall. Now I'm at the balls of my feet, right foot over left knee, and then I come down. Right foot is flexed. And then if I want to, put my hands on my right knee and push down, push in a little bit. And release. Come out of this. Just want to roll down one side. Push up with your hands. Onto my knees. So let's come into some cat-cow. It's really good to get some back work done here. So here we are. Coming into cat-cow. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And you're going to breathe in and press up, press through your hands like you're inflating a parachute. So not just your upper back, but your lower back, your middle back, all part of the breath. And then breathing out for cow, so you're leading with your tailbone. Breathing in for cat. Feel it. And out for cow. In. Excuse me. And out. One more time. In. And out. And then let's bring the legs apart. If you don't have to do them apart. I like to put them apart. It's easier for the back. And then coming down into child's pose. And let's make this child's pose. Starting here, let's come into cow from there. Out into child's pose. So let's do this as the in breath. And then the out breath. In breath. And out breath. And one more time. In breath. And out breath. And release. So I'm going to do a little bit of a side bend here. I'm going to side not a side bend, but an inner thigh stretch is probably a better way to put it. So what you're going to have is your right leg out to the side. Your left knee is underneath your hip. Your toes on your right foot are pointed forward. And the blocks are in front. Okay. And then what you're going to do is now lean back into that left leg. Actually, the feet are, toes are curled under. So you're going to lean back, and your hands are on the block. And breathe. And then when you might find you can't stand this anymore, just come up. Because your toes are curled under, and that's often a very uncomfortable place to be. Let's do the other side. So left leg out. You're going to lean back, arms on the blocks. And coming up. Let's come over to our bellies in prone position. Let me get this over here. Rocks here. Come to a prone position. And let's come into prone cobra. And let's just do a few cobras here. So hands underneath your shoulders, press on the top of your feet, your thighs, your pubic bone, and then bring your shoulders up first. And as you breathe in, bring your head up like a swan. And down. And up again, breathing in as you come up. And you might come up further than me, and that's great. Down. One more time, coming up like a swan. And elbows are hugged to your side. And down. And then you can make a pillow underneath your hands for Makrasana. And just rest for a moment. And then let's put our hands underneath the shoulders again, and we're going to come up into downward dog. Now you can come up into table pose and then go into downward dog. The other option is to push yourself up with mostly your hips first. And then you're in downward dog here, okay? Just feel the length of your body, scooping your belly in. Get that nice scoop. And then walking your feet to your hands, or if you're one of those who can jump to your hands. And now we're in Uttanasana. And then halfway lift. And then Uttanasana again. And then let's come up into Urdhva Hasana. Hands, arms overhead. We're trying to see if the camera would actually hit the top of my hands, but I don't think so. Okay, so that's part of the practice today. And we're going to come into now I don't know what people call this. My teacher calls it jazz dance warm-up pose, but it's feet are out, like a goddess. Goddess pose maybe is another way I've heard this called goddess pose before, but you're like this. Let's do just a few coming up, straighten your arms, legs and arms, elbows come together and then down, and then up, and then down. One more time, up and down. So you're not leaning forward, you're sitting on your fat horse. And so let's come up and let's do we're gonna do it with wide angle forward fold. So have your legs to be parallel, feet parallel, knees slightly bent, and bringing your right arm under your left. Let's come up into an eagle pose. So elbows come out and up just slightly. And you're going to take this down. So breathing while you come down. So bend your knees and pull your feet apart. Come down into your wide angle forward fold with eagle. Then you can straighten your legs when you get down there. Just feel in the top of your back. Feel the breath in your body. So ujjayi breathing is really nice when you're doing these slow movements like this too. And now you're going to press your feet into the ground, pull them apart isometrically. Knees are bent now and coming up again. Coming up with the arms forward and up a little bit. And then you can straighten your legs. You get up there, release the arms, and we'll do the other side. So now you're going to have your left arm under the right. Bring the arms together and forward and up a little so that the elbows are like at the same height as your shoulders. You're going to bend your knees. And then you're going to lean forward. Okay, and then you can straighten your legs when you get down there. Breathing. Now coming up, you're going to press into your feet, bend your knees, pull your feet apart isometrically as you come up slowly, engage your core. Straighten your legs, and now you are. So, eagle pose. We combine eagle with wide angle forward fold. Let's come into, I'm not going to do this, pose forward, so I'm not going to have it marrying you. So let's come into like a side angle pose here, facing, I'm going to face my right foot forward. And heels are in alignment, okay? So extended side angle, front knee bent. Look at your knee and make sure it's not coming in, tucking in. So I say this every time because it's a good reminder to lift up your heel a little and allow your hip to bring your knee out over the ankle or second or third toe. What we're going to do is we're going to come down. One option is to put your forearm up just above your knee. The other option is having your hand on the high block. Either way, it works really well. I'm going to go ahead and put mine here. And taking my left hand on my hip, like a flashlight, coming down and forward. And then you can take your hand, this is my left hand, underneath my rib cage and open up the rib cage. So the hip is going to move a little, but your focus is to have the hip going down and forward, rib cage coming to the side. And then, I call this my soldier. There we go. This is extended side angle. I'm going to bend my knee a little more. Okay, and really push out to the outside edge of the back foot. Really push that one out. Breathing in and out. Again, ujjayi breathing is really handy when you're doing these holding poses and slow movements. And push, if you're doing your forearm, push your forearm. If you're doing the block, push into the block, okay? And then we're going to take this arm down. I have two blocks here, so I'm going to have them on the high setting just to help me straighten my front leg. And then I'm going to remove, I don't need to use this block anymore. Now I'm going to use this block in my right hand. Again, same movement with your hip. Down and forward, opening the heart. We're going to come into triangle now. If you find it's really hard to bring your arm up, bring your arm forward first. And then you can kind of work it up like a clock. And really push to these legs. Push to the feet. And hug your right hip to the left. That's the same movement we're doing with the flashlight. Hugging the right hip to the left. Okay. Breathing. And then coming down, you're going to bend your right knee. And now this is going to allow you to come up. We're going to come into Warrior Two. Press the legs, the feet apart like isometrically. Pull them apart as you come up. And you're now in like a more upright position. So in this position, bring your hand, one hand over the other, so you've got like the palms are facing the ground. You already looked at your knee, and now you can bring your arms up. And you notice they're higher than my shoulders. So it's really helpful for the shoulder. It's easier to hold them like this. And really feel this length right in front of your spine. And we can just do a little bit of a reverse warrior here. Bend the front knee. And coming back into Warrior Two. Let's go ahead and just bring the feet parallel. I'm going to grab my blocks and bring them to the other side of my mat. Here we go. So we're going to start with an extended side angle first. coming down, I'm going to bring my hand on the, just on the forearm, on the knee, above the knee. Here we are. And then the hip movement. So hip down and forward. And then opening the heart up. Now, some people can't do this. You can also put your hand behind your head. So just know that you can do it like that. Here we go. Pushing through the outside edge of the back foot allows the length to expand on that right side. Breathing in and out. If you've got your forearm just above your knee, press into that. Breathing in, out. And then bringing that hand down, that arm down. I'm just having 2 blocks here just to help me out. So now coming into triangle pose. So the front knee is now straight. And I'm going to put my left hand on the block. So I'm really pushing that down. Same movement with the hips. Hugging the left hip towards the right. So that's that movement of the right hip coming down and forward. Feel the feet on the ground. Feel the pressure of your left hand into the block. Some people can bring their hand all the way down to the ground, and that's fine too. It's whatever you're able to do. Now to come up, you're going to press the feet apart. Bend your knee, your front knee. Press the feet apart. Engage your core to come up. And now we're in Warrior 2. So the hand, Warrior 2, lower body. The hands like one palm over the other, facing down. You can come up so they face the ceiling, and then you've got this high arm Warrior 2. And then flip the front palm up, and you can come into. I like to put my hand on the hip. Some people like to do the thigh. Do whatever you find is helpful. You know, look at your hands, and so bend that front knee. And coming up, make the feet parallel, you'll tilt the feet together. And for a moment, let's just stand in Tadasana with your knees slightly bent, feet hip width apart. Tailbone to the ground and collarbones lifted. Just notice how you feel. Right, good. So let's come into tree pose. I like to do it on blocks. This is our balance pose for the day. So because I have big feet, I have one block in front of the other. You might have smaller feet. You can use one block. So it depends what works for you, but these are 4 by 6 by 9 blocks. So you can take your right foot on the block. If you've got 2, I put mine over 2 blocks. Okay, and we're gonna just bring the hip up and down to start out with. Okay, so get this feeling. What you want to do with tree is you don't want your right hip sashaying out in tree. So you really want to firm that hip, engage your core. Okay, so this is my right foot pressed into the block. When you're doing tree, to keep yourself from losing balance, it's helpful to look at something on the ground that does not move. So you can do that. And now sliding this left leg up, I find it's easier for me to have my leg here on the calf, but not on the knee. It can be above. You can have your feet down into like a kickstand, or you can have them here. And engage your core strongly here. Hip points together. And breathe. This is not my better balance side sometimes. Here we are into our tree. arm overhead. And then I'm going to come down. So the key to this is really focus and concentration. And we'll try the other foot again. Keep that hip, snug it in. Feel the length in your body, engage the hip points towards each other. Find that space on the ground that does not move. And then find your, so this is my not balanced day. And doing this on blocks is more challenging than on the ground. It's not my day. Oops. So even yoga teachers have days. So this is harder on the block. Okay, here we go. Then up. And down. So it is harder on blocks. So if I'm having an issue with it, you having an issue with it, you know it can happen. So if I did this, for example, on the floor, it feels a lot more steady on the floor. If I do this, much more steady. And I would go to yoga classes and people would not stand on their mats, they'd stand on the wood floor because it was more steady. So this is even 2 levels beyond that. So there we go. It's a learning, it's always a learning for me too. So let's come into a downward facing dog. This is a great pose. So downward dog, I'm just gonna come down onto my knees and come into our downward dog. And just to go through some downward dog, let me just come forward so you can see my shoulders. So what happens to a lot of people is they just kind of hang in their shoulders. And what you want to do with downward dog is, a way to start is to kind of do like military push-up hands. So the hands are kind of facing towards each other, elbows bent. And then you rotate your hands to be parallel and bring your elbows in like you're holding onto a beach ball. And you can see the difference in my shoulders when I do it that way. And the feet, you can bend the knees and lift your butt up. You're on your tiptoes and then come down and scoop your belly and feel the length in your spine. Breathing. And let's come forward into plank. Now, you might not be able to do plank. You may have to do a knees down plank. We're just going to do downward dog to plank. And downward dog and plank. And one more time, downward dog to plank. And let's just stay in plank for just a few breaths. Engage your core here and pull your thighs up. And then let's walk back, come back into downward dog and walk your hands back, arms straight. Get a little twist in the upper back, walking back. And here you are in Uttanasana at the back of your mat. And then let's just come up to Virabhadrasana. Right. So I thought I would just do a little bit of Warrior One, and then we're going to go to the ground. I think that's what I had planned. Not that I always follow my plans. I don't follow my plans. We're going to do with one block. And this is my right foot forward, left foot back. I'm just going to do a little bit of block behind the head, elbows together, and lift. So really push that back foot, front knee bend, of course, and it's over your ankle or second or third toe. Right. Looking up, and then you're going to bring your block up. Okay, the block is like this. Block up, and back down. Lift up. Block up again. One more time, lift up. And up, here we go, and let's bring that down. Let's do the other side. Warrior one. So now I have my left foot forward, right foot back. And block behind the head, elbows together and up. Breathing, arm up. And down, lift up. And up. There we go, lift up. One more time, arm overhead, block overhead. Right. And then forward, and then here we are. And we're going to do something with the block behind your head now. So you can't see me from profile, but I've got the block behind my head like that. And I'm standing at the wall. And this is really nice chest opener. So the arms can come out. Then we'll go to the ground. The arms will come out. You can feel your chest lifting. This is a nice counterbalance to being in front of the computer a lot. Okay, so then I'm gonna, if you want to make this even more, walk the feet forward a little bit and come up onto your tiptoes and open up even further. So you can see my head is resting on the block against the wall, so the flat setting, I'm on my tiptoes. Get your toes and ankles stronger. You're opening your heart. And release. You can stand there longer if you like, but it's a great pose. Not necessarily a yoga pose, but it's certainly helpful for your upper back, chest. So let's come down to the ground now. And have two blocks stacked on top of each other like a little bench. And we're just going to do a little twist here and a little side bend. So here we are. Actually, I'll bring the other leg forward first. So right leg forward, left leg back, left knee. Let's just lift up. So when you're doing a twist, you're going to lift up. Slide that left arm outside the right knee and then twist over to the right. And press that forearm against the knee, knee against the forearm. You need to bring your arms out to the side. And forward. I'm also going to turn this into a side bend. So instead, it's the right arm inside this front leg, left arm up, and now you're going to side bend over to the right. We feel the left side of your rib cage expand. Palm to the ceiling and look up. Little twist there. And coming down. And let's change legs. So now left foot forward. Right knee bent. Lift up. Slide the right arm outside the left thigh. And then twist over to the left. You can have your hand on your hip to start with. And then you can take your hand around, a little extra twist there. And then coming forward, taking that left hand inside now, right arm overhead, pressing against, left arm against left thigh, and then you're going to have your right arm up, side bend. So lifting before you bend, lift, breathe in, and then breathe out, side bend. And you can flip your palm to the ceiling and look up. And release. It's really nice. You know, getting side bends and stretches and twists, super nice. Just bring the legs out. A little bit of a press the legs apart. Press the legs into your arms. Lift up. And release. Good. So let's come now down to, let's come down to a little bridge pose here. Bridge, feet are kind of close to your butt. And we're just going to do lower bridge. Just kind of tuck your shoulder blades together. And then to do bridge, kind of like do your little back arch, so like you're bringing your sacrum to your head. And lift up slowly. And then take your left arm, so this is my left arm, and then put it on your right cheek and look to your left. And then release and come down out of your bridge. If you're doing a higher bridge, it's more of a strain, and that's when you want to be coming on your tiptoes set up. But we're doing low bridge here because we're at the end. Let's try that back arch again. Lift up. Do a low bridge. Now bring the right hand up, and then the back of the hand is on your left cheek. It's kind of a little neck stretch. You're not trying to pull your head too much. And release down. Nice. Yeah. Let's take the blocks. So they look like that. So your sacrum is here. On the low setting, of course. And then you can bring your knees to the chest. And you might need to adjust these, so be aware you might have to adjust. Or hold them in place. And let's just rotate back and forth. And then you can bring it over and down and up, and just make a figure eight. Over to the other side. Just do a figure eight with your knees together, and this is a nice massage. Having it angled like that gives you angles to massage yourself against. Nice. Let's go to center, then extend the left leg out, interlace your hands behind the right thigh and pull that leg towards you. And we'll change legs. Release. And now let's come into your Shavasana, however that looks for you. I've talked about this one before. If you have a blanket, you can just Actually, probably this way would be better. And then just fold it into thirds. Use Mexican blankets. So I'm gonna actually place these at like an edge like that, so I could do like Supta Baddha Konasana. And then my rear end is on the floor. But my lower back is on the blanket. And then I can just inchworm the blanket to support my head. Breathing for your Shavasana. This is the most important pose there is. And just taking this time to remember what it was like at the beginning of class, and now you have something to compare it with. Where is your mind now? How do you feel? And letting yourself rest. Now breathe deeply, coming back into your room, back into your space. Stretching your arms up like you just woke up in the morning. Moving your arms and moving your legs, specifically your toes. And then when you're ready, you want to move to the right side into a fetal position. Keeping your eyes closed and really holding within your practice. ready, push your hands into the ground to get yourself up into a seated position. Find a comfortable place to sit, or way to sit, and then close your eyes when you get there. And then bring your hands to your heart center in Anjali mudra. Just holding this space for yourself and your loved ones. Remembering how you felt at the beginning, remembering now. Now, actually not remembering, but feeling now. How do I feel now? What is my mind doing now? Maybe it's a little calmer. Breathing in one more time, one big breath in through the nose, Ujjayi breathing. Breathing out. And bowing your head to your hands. Namaste.